This is Andrew for CollectionDX.com taking a look at Transformers Masterpiece Inferno. So here's everybody's favorite Autobot fire truck coming at you at a nice presence-filled 8 inches long in truck mode. He's got a nice feel to him, very solidly locked together in truck mode. Plastic tires, no die-cast like the rest of the Autobot cars, but he is definitely the largest one released so far. In fact, he's starting to creep up on Optimus's size here. There's MP-10 right there. He is bigger than Masterpiece Ironhide, and of course still dwarfs the Masterpiece Lamborghinis. I have Sideswipe here filling in for Red Alert. Like the rest of the Real Car series, he is in fact a licensed vehicle. He is, according to the box, a Mitsubishi Fuso T951, which, so here's the thing. In real life, the T951 truck, which is, it's a commercial vehicle with 6 wheels, it is a flatbed truck. While there are Fuso fire trucks, Inferno is not really based on any particular one. He is inspired by them, so I think that's why Takara Tomy decided to go with the somewhat more fanciful animation design for the fire truck mode, rather than trying to make him fit into an actual Fuso fire truck. Though still, he looks very nice. I actually really dig how he looks in vehicle mode. Yeah, he does have the visible arms, kind of like the old toy, but everything is nicely aligned, compact, nothing's really sticking out. And despite what you might have read on the internet, he does actually have taillights, or at least places for taillights, right here, here, and maybe you could say right there. They're not picked out with any paint or anything like that, and unfortunately his sticker sheet only comes with little fire department markings for the side of the truck here. Nothing for taillights, but yeah, they still tried to make this fictional fire truck roadworthy, and again, he's a licensed vehicle, but like a real commercial truck, they licensed the cab and the chassis, and basically just did it up to look like a certain robot in disguise. So speaking of which, here he is next to the original G1 Inferno. This is actually the Generation 2 release. This is my childhood Inferno. You can see that even back then, he was still kind of clearly a Mitsubishi Fuso fire truck. Well, the Fuso truck at least. Right down to having the little 3-pointed shape right in here. It's kind of a 3-point star. Again, Mitsubishi, 3-diamond. His chromed front, this is the realistic front, is really nice looking. This is just, it's very detailed. It's a handsome vehicle. It looks great with the rest of the figure. And what else you can do with this is, if you get your hand in here, there's actually just a little spot right there that helps you push this thing out, and he comes with, weirdly enough, another kind of truck front. This is the animation model, which, to be honest, this looks more like a placeholder. He does come with a third replaceable truck front, but that's for use in robot mode. I don't really get this. I mean, it's kind of quaint looking. It's a neat idea, but that does not erase the fact that the rest of him is still a realistically detailed Fuso truck. So let's just kind of go back to this for a second. And like any good toy fire truck, Inferno features a nice articulated ladder. Now, an interesting thing about this ladder right here is you can see there's the piston detailing to kind of show the mechanism that makes it go up and down. There are actually 2 tracks on the inside of the whole assembly here. One is semicircular shaped and brings this back. That's kind of where it's going to sit in when you transform him to robot mode. And then there's a track that just goes straight down, and that's more for vehicle mode and keeping the details. I found that by default it tends to always want to go into the rear track rather than the track for vehicle mode, so you just kind of have to pull this up just a little bit to get it onto the proper track. Again, but that's if you really care about where this piston detailing goes as you're manipulating the toy. Another kind of neat feature is he has extendable stabilizers on either side of the vehicle mode, so pretty cool there. On the tip of the ladder, you can open up this panel right here, just like that, and inside there's a little nozzle you can pull out. This is more or less based on his cartoon appearance. So this is where the nozzle looks, or this is where it sticks out. You have a couple of options here. You can either have it sticking out from the top like that, or you just fiddle around with it a little bit, and it can actually stick out right through the middle of the ladder. So that's pretty neat. Also, you're going to notice this comes down like that, but that's for the transformation. So if you want to manipulate the ladder, just kind of grab it from the rear here. But yeah, that's the ladder right there. He also includes a cool little water spray effect. So you can actually have him fighting fires, you know, just like any toy fire truck should. And that's pretty much what you have for non-robot-y stuff for the fire truck mode. Now, one thing I will say, his ladder, it's has numerous steps to it. It definitely tapers a lot more than like a realistic ladder would. Again, this is kind of like the toy, or I should say the animation model version of the way Inferno looked. So, and this is pretty much as far as it extends like that. It's not the humongous one on the original toy, but, and again, there's a very good reason why the ladder is like that. And lastly, what you can do with Inferno in truck mode is take its little rather Gundam-esque extinguisher rifle, and you can store it on the vehicle in several different places. One being the back of the ladder right here. Another place, which is probably the most discreet, is you take the foregrip, and there's a slot right here that will accept that part of the gun, and it fits nice and neatly between his arms. And the final place, this is actually using a bit of the transformation to get at it. You just kind of wiggle this up, and there's a panel here. Flip that up, and there's a little square space. You can stick the gun. Unfortunately, there's not really a good way to orient this gun in that little hole there. This is probably the silliest way you can do an attack mode on a fire truck toy. I'm sure this probably works better on the upcoming Grapple, whose weapon is based more on the actual G1 toy and not this kind of very boxy, compact, and again, very Gundam-esque design. So in transforming Inferno into robot mode, he's not quite as smooth as, say, Ironhide, but there's a lot of really neat tricks in this figure, and once you do it like once or twice, you kind of figure out the proper order for doing things on this toy. So, I already did this panel up top. Now we're going to collapse the ladder all the way back. We can open this little panel on the rear of the ladder assembly just a little bit, and this will come up like that. And the whole ladder essentially folds in half. Yes, it can extend and still break apart and fold like this, and then fits into this nice little tiny space there. That's really cool. Next step you're going to do, and this is pretty important, this is one of those things you're probably going to forget about, kind of like Optimus's like little ladder fill-in parts for his cab. You're just going to pull this up a little bit and push in these little panels right here. And I can see there's a tab that they they sit in front of. So just do that. Get those all the way down. You're going to want to pop his wheels back like that, and then pop them out just a little bit. Come around to his rear, pull the sides of the ladder assembly apart, and then you can start to bring this whole area apart. And similar to the original toy, you're going to start to bring this half of the truck up, and you can see his head is actually in the cab, not in the ladder assembly, so that's kind of a neat little twist on the original design. Bring up these panels here, just part way, and then you can bring out his legs about one click. Next up, you're going to want to just pop these wheels back like this, and then rotate this whole section up. And so we've got his head here. You can see his side wings are actually part of the whole head. You just bring those up, flip up the little water cannon like that, and then just bring these things out to the side. And there's a little indent here that the water cannon will fit over. Pop these things out. They actually kind of did that as I was bringing his head up. And you're going to rotate the sides of the cab 180 degrees. And this is the reason why you want to have the wheels kind of clicked down like in truck mode, because it'll give it enough room to rotate these panels like that so you don't scrape any paint. Because much like the other Autobot cars, Inferno has a fully painted exterior. I'm going to leave his arms alone for a second and focus on finishing up his legs. Alright, so what you're going to do here is rotate his feet forward, much like on the original toy. You can bring the ladder assembly out of the way. These sides here will fold in, forming the bottom of his feet. This will form the back of his feet, this little panel right here. Take the panel that has the stabilizers on it, pull it out, and it comes down and becomes the rear part of his legs. Do the same thing on the other side. His legs right now, the crotch is actually facing forward, so you want to just rotate his hips down like that, and we're starting to get into the finished robot mode. Flip these back to finish off his legs, and you can pop these back out to the side like that. So what's going to happen next is, it's kind of up to you at this point. You want to bring this down like that, and his ladder assembly is going to set like this in robot mode. And there's a couple of hinges in here that's just going to bring the whole cab assembly up. I'm just going to move these out of the way so that it will nicely lock in place for robot mode. And as you bring this bit up, it's going to help lock this in place and lock the whole body together for robot mode. And the way you're going to finish that off is you bring up his wheels. There's a, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there is a slot that goes onto these tabs here that goes from the wheel onto this part of the ladder assembly, and you just kind of make sure it gets in there like that. Everything snaps together very, very tightly. It makes him feel like such a solid toy. Alright, and then you can flip his head around. There's a little slot here that goes onto a tab just inside there to keep his head in place. And to finish off, you can flip the front fenders down a bit. This is really just for animation accuracy. Remember to put these back when you transform him back, because you don't want to scrape the edges right there. So with the arms, you're going to flip this moving part down. You're going to click his shoulders like that. There's a tab right here that's going to align, it's going to be this tab that aligns with this slot right here. So get that in there. You got one arm done. Same thing on this side. Rotate this mechanism forward so it's at an angle. Rotate his shoulder down, and then just click that all in like that. And here we go. Inferno in robot mode. One last thing. You're also supposed to push these little cylindrical details on his thighs this way to kind of complete his look in robot mode. So here is Masterpiece Inferno, fully roboticized, and he's grown to about 9 inches. He's certainly one of the taller Autobot cars. Again, he's quickly encroaching upon Optimus's size. There he is there. Here is Ironhide, Sideswipe in the front, and just for fun, here is Combiner Wars Rook. So you can kind of see a full range of Transformers on the market right now. As far as figures go, he is certainly a bit more plainer, cartoon-styled, like Ironhide, although this is not because, like with Ironhide, the cartoon model was very different from the toy. This is really just a case of, here's the toy, here's the cartoon design. They decided to go with the more show-accurate look. Although I will say he still has stuff that was just stickers on the original toy, molded on his detail, like this part's here on his hips, and other things kind of like that. Honestly, though, I do like the way he looks. What they did, and what's a real triumph, is taking the dopey cartoon model for Inferno, missing ladder included because, hey, they only had front views of many of the toys when they drew up a lot of the Season 2 models, and turned it into what looks like a very strong and powerful Autobot warrior. I mean, he looks really good. He looks as good as he feels, and he is a super solid Transformers figure. Just kind of starting off to talk about his articulation, you've got these nice ratchets in his arms. His arms can go out like that. If you need a little more space, you can always kind of pop this thing out too as well, but other than that, it will stay nicely slotted inside. He's got a waist joint, which is sometimes impeded by just the shape of all this stuff here, but what you can do is pop this up like that, because he actually has an ab crunch. Why? Because he needs one. Doing that allows you to kind of gain better access to his very, very strong hip joints. He's got a ratchet going this way, a ratchet going out, simple thigh swivel right here. He's got ratcheted knees that bend up this much. He's got the transformation joint for his foot, which is also nice and ratcheted. His foot can actually go a little bit more forward, and you'll notice that when you're moving his foot around, you will often engage this moving panel right here on the fronts of his shins, and what that allows you to do is kind of keep the look of his feet a bit more continuous as you're posing them. A neat bit too is that this will actually sink into this little gap in his foot, so you can kind of keep that nicely out of the way, or you can sort of bring it forward to, again, keep this all looking like one part. He has simple ankle tilts right there, but they're actually pretty good and make him very, very solid. He's got nice big feet. His weight is well distributed. The fact that the ladder is now resting inside of the cab means that he's not back heavy at all. And again, let's kind of look at the fact that that ladder is just gone. It's just all in here now, which is a really cool thing. Finishing off, he's got nice single jointed elbows, but they bend up more than 90 degrees. Rotating wrist, opening hand, and well, nice bicep swivel, and everything feels tight. Now, probably the piece de resistance is the fact that despite the fact his head is in a box, it's still one of the most articulated heads out of Masterpiece figures, because you have, well, this kind of main joint here. You can also pop this up if you want off the little tab. You can bring, oops, sorry, mine has a loose helmet. You can bring his whole head up like this on this little joint here, and you can move it back and forth. There's a ball joint that gives you tilt. It gives you a lot of neat expressive options, and yeah, there's a lot you can do with his head, again, which is in a box. On on this arm right here, the nice chromed gun arm, if you open it up, you'll find there's an extra hand in there. And a really cool thing is, if you flip this down like that, and then flip this up over like that, you now have two-handed Inferno, which looks great, is more true to the original toy, and is completely internal. On his other arm, the hand does not retract. You know, it doesn't need to for the fire truck mode, so they aren't going to do that. There's a pair of little communicators stored on the inside. He comes with two. These were from the episode Prime Target, and they just kind of slot right here into his arm like that, so that he can have him pretend to talk to other Transformers. And if you want to actually make him look like he's talking, you just pull his helmet off, take his face off, and he comes with what the instructions call a crying face. Grabbed the wrong head there. Yeah, so that's his crying face. Just stick this back on. Again, the only problem with mine is that on the angular, toy-accurate helmet, this thing's a little loose, but it's not the worst problem in the world. So now he's got his little talking face. He can talk to other Autobots. And as I mentioned, he's got the, this is the toy-derived head, more angular. This was the finalized model that was seen in a few more episodes than this other head here. So this is the more rounder, cartoony head design, which was seen in episodes not done by Toy or ACOM. And going with that head, you actually have different face plates. And these basically lack the angled brow of the other head. So you can take that off and stick this on like that. This one fits better than the toy head on my figure. You can do that. Unfurl his gun arm again. Stick this back around. Pull this off. Put on the alternate unchromed hand, and then you can pull this off. Stick on the show accurate grill, and there we go. We've got Masterpiece Inferno in full-on cartoon style, which I'm more into the more detailed, real-life accurate grill than this one, but it's a cool idea, and the fact that you get two different helmets is cool, and you actually do get two expressions for each helmet type. Let me show you that real quick. He's got a nice, happy, smiling face. Because, hey, wouldn't you be a happy guy if your best friend was Red Alert? So, that's that. For other accessories, you have the aforementioned extinguisher rifle, which has a little tab on the side, which can be stored right on his back here in this little slot. So that's a nice little bit of accessory storage there, and you can totally just have him reaching back to grab it if you want. Like most Masterpiece figures, this just goes into a slot in his palm. The only thing is you kind of have to leave the fingers closed a bit to get it past the foregrip as you're getting this all in place. And now he's got extinguisher rifle, he's got his gun hand, And the really neat thing is you've got 3 nozzles on the front. This, the water accessory, fits in every single one. So you got it there, you got it in the extinguisher rifle, and then you can put it right up here in his head-mounted water cannon, and he can even actually, you know, look down with it and hose off some cowboys, time traveling, thanks to Dynamite Island, and all that jazz. But not actually jazz, because, you know, Porsche is very particular about their licensing. As far as other accessories, here's another bit from Prime Target. You get this. This is the booby-trapped hose that Lauren Chubley used to kidnap Inferno to draw out Prime. It's got a little opening mouth, and there's actually some little serrated teeth in there. The hose is just kind of this, you know, weird flexible thing. It's not like a spring or anything like that, so it's pretty much all right. You can actually have him hold it. It's pretty easy. You just take it, stick it in his hand like that, and much like the other things on him, you can totally close up the front and then stick the water spray accessory on there. It might be a little difficult if you wanted to do the attack hose bondage as seen on the box of this toy. You just kind of try to wrap it around him, and then he looks kind of concerned that he's being attacked by a fire hose. But anyway, the last of the accessories is this thing. So this is a cradle that you just pop off the front here. This whole bit. It's just another truck faceplate accessory. Take that, stick it on there. You grab any kind of the Masterpiece Lamborghini guys. Again, Sideswipe is filling in for Red Alert. And then there's just like a nice little cradle right here. You can put his back like that on it. Get his legs in there like that. And then you probably want to snap in the whole waist joint like that, just so he doesn't lean forward. So this is why, partially why, Inferno has such strong ratchets in his legs, because he can totally lift up another Masterpiece car in his arms, thanks to this little cradle here. So it actually works better if you're using one of the guys who has a light bar, because there's a slot for it, but it also works fine if you just have the regular non-rescue vehicle Lamborghini guys. So yeah, this is the reference to the end of Auto Berserk, when you had Inferno carrying Red Alert tenderly in his arms, and so it's kind of a nice idea that they included this too, so you can have this as a more permanent display for the two figures. So yeah, that's pretty much it with Masterpiece Inferno. I gotta say, you know, despite kind of the negative buzz about this guy, which I really think is mostly just from pictures, once you get him in hand, it's sort of another case with, as it was with Masterpiece Inferno. You get this guy in hand, and suddenly you realize you are holding one hell of a Transformers toy, because goodness, feels solid. The plastic feels great. The paint job is great. The details, again, a bit plain, but the stuff for the truck mode is still very nice, especially this whole grill area right there. His joints are all really tight. He's one of the few Masterpiece Transformers who can very easily take a knee, just kind of like in his old G1 box art. You know, he has nods to the original toy with the two hands and stuff like that. He's got all these things from the TV series with the two different helmet designs, the two different face designs. The ladder, yeah, it's a little short in fire truck mode, but the reason is so it can fit nicely inside his body. It's a really cool trick. It's just neat to do. The transformation is involved. It feels really good when you're doing it, thanks to just kind of the overall build quality of this toy. So yeah, it's really just if you don't like the aesthetics of this figure, well, I can't do much for you. Third parties can, but I can't. I think that's really the only reason you wouldn't want to pick this guy up, because other than that, he is probably the best Masterpiece Transformer to date. And I know that kind of has become a common thing to say about these figures, but they at Takara Tomy have keep trying to one-up themselves, and yeah, this is definitely keeping the bar pretty high, because he's a really good figure. I'm looking forward to Grapple, not so much Artfire, because I don't really care about Artfire, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, really good figure. I think if you're a Transformers fan, if you like Inferno, if you like the old Autobot cars, you just gloss over the fact that yeah, he's going for the cartoon style, but I mean they make it look really good on this guy, because he is a really keep saying really solid Masterpiece Transformer, and honestly, it's a really good toy in general. You could easily give this to a kid, and they probably wouldn't mess him up at all. So anyway, this has been Andrew for CollectionDX.com, and signing off.